Oh, hey, I forgot my light. Oh, there we go. That's better. That's better. What's going on, everybody? It's episode 214 of McRae Live. It's Monday, July the 17th, 2023, 6:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's do it again! Halloween 2, 1981, a detail that I noticed. Actually, from watching the Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast's episode from yesterday about the best, best fire moments, Darren. It was an episode that Darren did on his own because Frank was away for the weekend, and it came to this moment. This is Darren's number one fire thing moment of all time, which of course, one more time, is with the great Dick Warlock, who I had a chance to meet at Mad Monster. Legendary Michael Myers, but legendary stuntman as well. Very, very, very nice man. And I noticed this as Darren was actually going through it. I was like, oh, I wonder if anybody's ever noticed this before. Ow! By the way, the link to the It's Me Billy Chapter 2 Indiegogo campaign is pinned to the top of the chat room. We're in demand now. We're in demand, and we're closing in on, what are we closing in on? We're closing in on 147,000, well, total raised. That's not what we, don't forget, Indiegogo takes their fee. But in terms of total raised, that's what we're only, I think we're like $300 away from that. So just saying, I'm going to be pushing this a little bit, There's still Blu-rays out there. I want to do that epic stream with you guys too on Saturday, October the 28th, 2023, 3 days before Halloween. I want to do that big, gigantic, epic stream. But in order for us to do that, we got to get those Blu-ray sales up. And maybe if it looks like we're not going to do it, there's still 2 associate producer perks available. I'd love to get those. Off the table. That would be good too. Anyways, before I talk a bit more about that and go over to the Q&A, let's talk Halloween 2, 1981. And I noticed this, like I said, from watching Darren's video for, I think it was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, or the day before. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. You inspired me, Darren. And I thought, oh, I don't know if anybody, now maybe people have noticed this. But I've never noticed this. And there is a few things in that firewalk scene to pick out. As somebody said in the chat room here, he never kind of really fully makes it past the stretcher on the right when it kind of looks like maybe he should have. Those kinds of things happen all the time. In the widescreen version, in the actual, of course, you never noticed this on VHS back in the day, but when you actually were able to watch the movie in widescreen, when there's the explosion, when it happens, you actually see on the right, and I've talked about this, you see a bit of the edge of the wall. The wall comes away, like where the set was built. Like it was a set, and you could actually see behind the wall and see kind of part of the set, you know what I'm saying? And I know I've ruined the movie magic now for you, but there was that detail, of course. There's that detail in the original Halloween. You know, when Annie and Laurie are walking on the sidewalk, and if you just look, that's how we say look here in Canada. Oot, a boot, loke. If you just look over the hedge, you see those curious onlookers who were not part of the crew, they lived there, and they were just watching the movie being made, and they stood up and they looked over the hedge. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I have a McRae Live on my channel where I talk about that. That's sort of made its way into it now, but I still see people kind of discovering it for the first time. So there's that. There's all these little kind of details, right? Well, this is not a mistake. Unlike those 2 things that I just gave, this is not a mistake or a continuity issue. It's just something that I was like, oh, that's really cool. I never noticed that detail, because you didn't need to have that detail there, because it would have been totally understandable if he didn't have that and the detail was not, you don't need it at all. But the fact that the detail is there, I think is pretty cool. So what am I talking about? Well, of course, I'm talking about Halloween 2, 1981. And I'm talking about the firewalk scene with Dick Warlock at the very end of the movie. It's time, Michael. One of the great fucking firewalk. And I agree with Darren Sands, by the way. One of the great firewalks of all time. I mean, Dick Warlock is engulfed. It is an absolute inferno. He's just not on fire. It is an inferno. Like, it's just, it's like it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. It is one of the most engulfed firewalks ever. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. Incredible. So we're talking about that scene. And as he is walking down the hall, and the stretcher's on the right, and Laurie's hiding behind a cabinet or whatever she's hiding behind, and she's there, and she's kind of, oh my God, the music, and he's walking down. Of course, he looks like the Michelin Man because he's got the fire retardant suit on and all. Okay. Michael Myers gained about 50 pounds, but you know what? You suspend your disbelief. You understand. It's like Freddy in A Nightmare on Elm Street. When Freddy, Robert Englund, it's not Robert Englund, obviously, but when Freddy is on fire in the basement and he's like, oh, and he's climbing up those stairs, he looks like he's put on a bit of weight. Looks like he's chowing. He was chowing down in the corner of that basement on some burgers or something. I don't know. He looks a bit heavier. It's understandable. Maybe nowadays they'd be able to mask that a bit better and all that kind of stuff, because obviously, those types of effects have come a long way. But certainly on low budget movies back in the late 70s, early 80s, this is kind of what you got. And so whenever I see Freddy climbing up those stairs, I'm like, yeah, it looks like a chunky Freddy, but I suspend my disbelief, like, oh, Freddy's on fire. It was incredible. And I do the same thing here. It's like, yeah, it kind of looks like, like he's got a big snowsuit on. That's what it looks like. He's got a big snowsuit on, and he's walking down the hall, and he's got you're like, yeah. And then you try to justify it in your own mind. You're like, well, maybe it's whatever. But anyways, last night I noticed this, and I've never noticed it before. If you pay close attention, again, this might, for some people might go, oh, that's it. Well, no, it's not a mistake. It's not a continuity error. So it's not, cool like that. It's just a detail from a story perspective and a continuity perspective that I don't think needs to be there, but it's cool that they actually still had Dick Warlock do that. And that is, if you look closely, I'll go over to the other screen here. If you look closely, you can actually see right here, hang on, there I am. Right here, he's holding the scalpel. Look, he's holding the scalpel. He's still got the fucking scalpel in his hands. He's still got the scalpel in his hands. And of course, you don't really notice it if you're watching it on your phone or back in the day with VHS on our own, our 19, 20-inch televisions. But, when you're watching on a big television, like I have a 75-inch TV, and I'm watching it on this as I'm watching, Darren's episode, and I'm like, oh, hey, it's the scalpel. It's the scalpel. So I'm just going to roll this back for just a second, and we'll just watch this and pay attention to the hand, and you'll notice it. So hang on, I got to make sure I'm I don't want any. Oh, yeah, I don't want any copyright with that. Okay. All right, here we go. So we're going. Look at that. See, right there. See that? Did you catch it? Let me go back again. If you look very closely, you'll see. Again, it's within there's a lot of flames, there's a lot of fire, right? A lot of flames and a lot of fire. But if you look closely, because he's moving his hand back and forth, right? Because he's moving his hand back and forth, you're able to actually see the scalpel in his right hand. He's still got it. Let me just go back here. He's still got it. Watch for it. Hang on. No, not here. Watch for it. There it is. See it? There it was. And you can see it there too. Let me just, you can kind of see it in this shot too. Just roll it back a little bit here. Okay. We're going right there. Yeah. It's really fascinating. The best shot of it though is this shot. That's where you notice it the most. This is such a sweaty Halloween nerd.
Hey, have you guys noticed that Dick Warlock is carrying the scalpel? Oh my God, he's got a scalpel. He's still holding the scalpel.
Now, before any of you yell and scream at me and write me hate mail saying that I'm making fun of you, I'm the one doing the goddamn video, okay? You might be watching, but I'm the one that decided to turn on all my equipment and do the video. So I am just as much a sweaty Halloween nerd as you. So calm down. Okay, so, but I do think it's really cool. So again, let me, hang on, that's going to be it there. Let me just move this down like this. So yeah, just pay attention. We're going to go and right there. Yeah, there it was. There it was. Go back. See if I can get that a bit better. Right there. Yeah, you can see it. Right there. He's holding it. He's still holding the scalpel. Isn't that cool? Listen, maybe you've noticed that before because you probably watched this movie way more than I do. Halloween 2 is my favorite sequel in the Halloween franchise. I still think it's the best, Halloween film after the original. But I admit that there are definite Halloween fans and horror fans that watch these movies yearly and will just pop them on. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've been perusing social media and I'll just see somebody just some random post be like, having a Halloween marathon today. Yo, dude, I just finished watching Halloween 2 for the 4th time this week. Or, hey guys, I just finished watching, Halloween 5 for like the 5th time this year. And I just wanted to say that, like, there's diehard fans out there that just watch these movies on repeat over and over. So it's entirely possible that you might have noticed this already, but I haven't watched Halloween 2 probably since the last time we watched it here on the channel. I'm not watching it all the time. So, I mean, I've seen them so much that I don't need to watch them, like all the time. But it's a detail that I never noticed before. So it was news to me. And I thought it doesn't need to be there. Let me see if I can get a better shot of it. It doesn't need to be there because it would be completely justifiable if he didn't have it in his hand anymore, right? I got to be quicker than that. I got to be quicker than that. There we go. You can kind of see it a bit better there. But it's right there. That little thing sticking up there. That's the scalpel. And again, it would be completely justifiable if he didn't have it in his hand. He dropped it. He blew up. There was a gigantic explosion and the man blew up. So it's completely justifiable if he didn't if he didn't have it in his hand. Completely justifiable. But I thought it was pretty cool. So hey, yeah, I mean, have you guys noticed this? Let me see here. Let me see. Has anybody noticed this? Let's see what people are saying. Josh McKenna, I see your super chat there. I'll get to it in a second, Josh. Chester Franklin Jr. says, I didn't notice when I watched on AMC 2 years ago. Halloween 2 is definitely my first favorite movie of the franchise. Very cool. Yeah. Robert Ford says, I need to go and buy Halloween 2 Myers figure and set with a scalpel in his hand. You may need to do that. There's a couple other people who said that they didn't notice that. Yeah, no, it's again, it's not a big deal, of course, but it's just one of those things that I thought was kind of interesting. And as I was watching Darren's video yesterday and this clip came up as he was talking over it, it just, for what I guess maybe because I've seen this moment in this scene, 15 trillion times, that my mind was just sort of focused on his hands for whatever reason. And then I was like, oh, that's an interesting detail. Cause again, you don't need it. I mean, it's completely justifiable if it's not there, makes perfect sense. He just blew up in an explosion. He dropped the scalpel. I mean, you don't need it at all. But it's in his hand. 100%. 100% it is. And it's not like an optical illusion with the flames or anything like that, because you can tell, again, there's clearly an object in his hand. So when we watch it, again, watch his hand. Watch his hand. There it is. See? That's what I'm saying. There's clearly an object in his hand. And so pretty cool if you ask me, folks. Pretty cool if you ask me. Dude says, it is a big deal, Dave. It is a big deal. Yeah, have you guys know scalpel in his hand? Oh, my goodness. The hate mail's coming. Hey, I'm the one doing the video. Hey, do you remember when I got made fun of? I know I've said this before, but I was redeemed, which is why I always like to point this out. When I did that video about, well, it was before Halloween Ends came out, so maybe it was about a year or so ago. I had noticed that the opening title sequence font for Halloween 18 is the same opening title sequence font for Halloween 1978. And the opening title sequence font for Halloween Kills is the same opening title sequence font for Halloween 2, 1981. And I sort of, took an educated guess based on that pattern. And I made a video about how I said, gee, I wonder if Halloween Ends will have the Halloween 3 font, because Halloween 18 has Halloween 78, Halloween Kills has Halloween 2, or maybe the Halloween 4 font, because Halloween 3 doesn't have Michael Myers in it, so maybe they'd skip over Halloween 3 and just go to Halloween 4 font. And I did a video on this, and I remember people going, oh, this slow work day, Dave's font. And I get it, I totally understand it, but I was proven right. Riped? Whatever the hell that is. Vindication, baby, because Halloween Ends did use the Halloween 3 font. So it was something that they were going to do. I was right. So you can make fun of me all you want doing the fucking video about fonts, but who's got fucking egg on their faces now, bitches? No, it's really not that serious. But I just thought it was funny. I was like, oh, because when I went to go see the movie and the title sequence came up and they're doing I was like, oh, look at that. Ooh, called that one, bitches. Not that that's any big deal, but I just thought it was funny. But yeah, pretty cool stuff indeed. So folks, hey, comment below and let me know. Have you ever noticed this? Did you notice this? Is this something you noticed? Now, obviously, I'm counting on you to, be humble and maybe admit you never noticed it before. Of course, there's always going to be somebody out there that doesn't want to be embarrassed and be like, oh, yeah. Hey, bro, I noticed it. I've noticed it for like years, bro. Like, come on. That's everybody knows that. He's got a scalpel in his hand. I noticed it. Oh, man. Hate mail's coming. No, but seriously, though, like, have you noticed it? I never did until last night. Really interesting stuff. Jump into the comment section below after, of course, the live show and let me know your thoughts. And what are some other things that maybe you've noticed in the Halloween franchise that you didn't notice before? Like, how long did it take you to notice that there were those two neighbors that were popping their heads over the hedge to see Jamie Lee Curtis and Nancy Loomis walking down the sidewalk? Maybe this is your first time hearing this and you're going to go check it out right now. There's that, right? That's pretty cool too, right? A lot of little things like that, errors, goofs, equipment reflection in the mirror, and all that kind of shit. This is not that, but yeah, let me know some things that maybe surprise you. Because again, as I've often said, there's very little about this franchise or about these movies that surprises me anymore. And so there's very little new information that I can bring to the table or that we can bring to a video. Otherwise, we're just talking about the same shit over and over again. And sometimes that's fine if there's enough distance and space between when we talk about them, right? Like I'm all for talking about, the cinematic language and the symbolism and the, the mood and the atmosphere and, what that means in the first movie and, all this stuff and, and the storm on the horizon coming in and all that juicy stuff that I love to talk about, right? I'm fine doing a video about that again or talking about, is there motive, not motive? motive, lack of motive, all that. I've done a shitload of videos about that. And I'm totally cool with talking about that again, of course. But when you've talked about it so much and you've made literally hundreds of videos and live streams and, about all this stuff, sometimes you're like, what more can we discuss? What more can we discuss? What new information can we bring to the table about the Halloween franchise that we have yet to bring to the table? And I saw this pop up and I was like, hey, there's something right there. There is something right there that is kind of cool. Anyways, let's jump over to the chat room and see what you were all saying. I know that Josh McKenna becomes our first super chat and sends in $9.99. Thank you, Josh. And says, I noticed there is a new character in It's Me, Billy, Chapter 2. That is correct. Named Detective Mike Henney. Is the last name a tip of the hat to Maleka? I recognize the last name immediately. It is. Yes, it is. It definitely is. Yes, we are honoring both Shelby and Maleka. Nancy, played by Lynn Griffin, her last name is Handley. Now, I don't know if she'll be credited as Handley, but that's what we've written in the script. So, yes. Handley and Henny. It was our way of honoring them and keeping them in the movie without them being in the movie, of course, because obviously they're no longer with us and their characters are no longer with us. And so yes, it is. Yeah, today I made the announcement that we have cast Glenn Michael Grant in the role of wait a minute, where are you guys? There you guys are. In the role of Detective Mike Henney. And he is a terrific actor, loads of experience. He's been on Chucky and Suits, and I think he had a small role in Chaos Walking, if I'm not mistaken. And he's been in a ton of shows, playing, the detective or the cop or, whatever. And when we put out the casting call, we received a submission from his agent, and Bruce and I watched him and we liked him the best. Just sort of, the gravitas and the nuance of what we were looking for this role. It's not a huge role, but it's an important role. And so we were looking for somebody that was a good dramatic actor. And he proved to be just that. So, we're very excited to have him on board. I sent him the script today, and, Bruce and I will be having a Zoom call with him to formally welcome him to the project probably next week at some point, answer any questions, go over his character, all that kind of jazz. And so very, very excited about that. Matthew Farisi sends in $4.99 and says, Feelings on the movie aside, did the Halloween 3 font bother you in ends? How did you feel about it? No, it didn't bother me at all. Didn't really think much of it. I saw the font. I was like, oh, they are doing that. Cool. Okay. And just kind of, because it's still a nice font. So no, I had no issues with it. Jordan Christie sends in $1.99, says, does the SAG strike affect the release of Dylan's New Nightmare? No. So, no, it does not affect the release of Dylan's New Nightmare because Dylan's New Nightmare is not for profit and not associated with any studios. So that's one thing that, again, a few days ago when I made my social media post, when I said that, does the SAG strike affect It's Me, Billy Chapter 2? And I said the short answer is yes, because obviously there was information and details that we were continuing to gather, because it does affect us. But the question is how much, like in what way, right? And I didn't have those details at that moment, but I have learned that that there is a situation that SAG is offering truly independent producers not associated with the studios or don't currently have distribution. And obviously we're also not for profit. But anybody who falls under doesn't have distribution, not associated with the studios at the moment, not for profit, all these things. SAG will allow those productions to use their union members because, I mean, we're not, you know, we aren't the problem. We aren't what SAG-AFTRA is fighting against. So it looks like that if the strike was to last until we were potentially going to go to camera, which is at the end of November, the earliest, then we would have to take advantage of those waivers, which SAG will provide, which is fantastic. So we are a union production, so it does affect us. We have to look into it, and we got to find out what are the rules, what are the regulations, can't we, all that kind of stuff. But you would think, being not for profit, we're not, you know, Sony, we're not Netflix, we're not, I mean, we should be okay, but you never know, right? You never know. You don't want to just kind of assume, you know, you got to look into those things. So that's what we've done. And Dillazoo Nightmare is the same way. Never Hike Alone is the same thing. You know, we are using SAG members, but we are not for profit. We're not studio released. So we, by everything I'm seeing, there was an article in Deadline about this specific thing as well. So by everything I'm seeing, we should be fine. So no delay in production, you know, things should be good. But we will continue to keep all of you updated, of course, and keep you updated in what's going on. And like I said, the It's Me Billy Chapter 2 campaign is in demand right now. So if you haven't picked up your Blu-rays, you can still pick them up. There's t-shirts on there. There's hoodies on there. There's autographs on there. There's 2 associate producer perks still available. We have 15 available. We had 15 available, 13 sold. There's 2 left. I would love to sell out the associate producer perks. That would be great. And there's still 4 executive producer perks available, of course, as well. And of course, I mean, that's why Indiegogo allows successful campaigns to go into in demand to help continue to raise funds, to continue to spread awareness, because obviously it's only going to make the product, whatever it is, whether you're raising funds for a service or a product or a movie or, you know, whatever it is, it only will make that product, whatever that product is, in our case, a movie, better, right? The more money we have, the better that the product is going to be, because we then can, you know, start to allocate these funds to certain areas that are pricey. And very, very pricey. So again, yeah, by all means, the link to the campaign is at the top of the chat room. You're going to want to get in on this. And like I said, the closer we can get to 550 units sold of the Blu-rays, and I will combine them. I will do that, because some people have asked me if the Blu-rays, so will you combine the 2? I will combine them. But if we're not close, then it doesn't matter. Like if I combine them and we're at like 410, it's like, well, that's not close. You know, I'll still do something on the 28th, but I'm not going to do the 8-hour stream. But if we can get to 550 Blu-ray sold, which I still think is entirely possible, I will absolutely honor that as well. Or, you know, if it looks like maybe we're not going to get there, you know, by the time October the 28th rolls around, like I said, maybe I'll say, okay, you know what? Let's sell the 2 associate producer perks and maybe 1 more executive producer perk, and maybe I'll do it then. Do you know what I mean? Maybe I'll do it then, because between that would be well over another, you know, 10 grand. Well, Indiegogo takes their percentage, but it would probably be another at least maybe $8,000 or something like that. So that is huge. That's huge when you're dealing with unions and fees and insurance and all that stuff. It's huge, folks. It really is. And there might be a little bit of a nest egg there too, to help us when we get into post-production as well, because if everything goes smoothly and we can shoot at the end of November, our goal is to drop the teaser trailer like we did with Chapter 1, drop the teaser trailer at Christmas time, right? Like on Christmas Eve, right? And let me tell you, it's going to be a teaser trailer all you Black Christmas fans out there are not going to want to miss. So we already know what it's going to be when we look at the script. And so, and then of course the campaign will be open. There's no doubt that will drive traffic to the campaign as well. Yeah, it's great. You know, it's amazing how much it costs to make when you want to make a movie that is a legit professional production, even on this lower budget scale, it's amazing the fees that pop up and all that kind of stuff. If you've done it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't done it, trust me, there's a lot, especially when you are a full scale union shoot. You know what I mean? It's serious stuff. So, and even right now we're considered no budget. I mean, think about that. Even with all the money we've raised, it's nothing to Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? It's incredible. But yes, the more we can raise, the better. That's why Indiegogo allows that. Right? Because they know that, well, they also know they take a lot in fees. So successful campaigns, when you get into in demand, that helps to make up for that as well. So, but we're very excited. And so, as I said, the short answer is yes, obviously the SAG-AFTRA strike does affect us, but thankfully, because we are not a studio and not part of the studio side of things. Although we did just, I'll announce this a bit later too, we did just open up our own production company. So that's exciting as well. And we had to do that because we became a union shoot. So, but I'll talk more about that maybe on a show with Bruce. So, but we had to do it. And there's an association we have to join as well here in Canada called the CMPA, which is the Canadian Media Producers Association. Myself and Bruce have to join that. So it's there's lots of fees. Lots of things going around, and so I'm just saying, don't think, it's in demand now, we don't care. No, just keep sharing it. I'm just saying. I would love to see us, I'd love to sell out those last 2 associate producer perks, especially because we're so close, right? There's only 2 left. You know what I'm saying? That would be great. Michael Dammit sends in $5, says, what would happen if someone crosses the picket line? Well, they would, I don't know. I think it would probably depend on who it was and what sort of seniority, they had. I mean, but SAG-AFTRA lays out very specific rules, and you don't want to, if you are somebody if you're somebody that's even non-union right now, but you have a desire to become union, you want to join the union, then you probably should be supporting the strike and watching what you say on social media and all that kind of stuff. Because if the time ever comes where you're in a position where you get booked onto a union gig and you now have to join the union, don't think they're not going to do a background check on you. And they could find you, if they find social media where you're trashing the union and bullshit, fuck this, fuck that, fuck SAG, all that kind of stuff, they may be like, no. I mean, they can deny you if they want, and then that's a whole other issue right there, right? So, it's best, obviously, like what I say is if you are a SAG member and you don't agree with what's going on, it's probably best just to remain quiet, in terms of like online presence. The problem is that when they asked the voting body of SAG, which is thousands of members, are you willing to strike if we don't get the deal we want? Like 98% voted yes. So you're going to be hard pressed to find a union member that doesn't agree with what's, going on right now. But yeah, if somebody was to cross the picket line, that would probably hinder them. There's several ways it could hinder their union status and their union membership. So potentially. So it's probably best to, not do that. Gavin S sends in $2. Thanks, Gavin. Says, sorry, haven't been as active. Love your vids always. Thank you, Gavin. Really appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Let me see. Have I missed any other super chats? I don't think. Oh, yeah, hang on. No. I got the Jordan Christie one, Matthew Farisi. I got the Matthew Farisi one. Okay, I just want to make sure I haven't missed any. I don't believe I have. I don't believe I've missed any. But yeah, I don't believe I have. All right. Just because we haven't done this in a while, I want to show you guys where we are. Show you what the campaign looks like right now, for those of you that might be interested. So this is what the campaign looks like right now. Whoa,
It's a little big there, Dave. It's a little big. It's a little big there, McRae. It's a little big. That's what she said.
all right. So this is what it looks like right now. So as you can see, the bottom number is where we ended on July 1st. The bottom number is where we ended on July the 1st. Hang on a sec here. That's where we ended. The bottom number is where we ended on July 1st, 144,799 from 1,161 backers. Since July 1st, we've gone up. We're sitting at 146,694 from 1,172 backers. That's great. We actually got another associate producer perk from Davey Deathray. Shout out to Davey Deathray, who I met at the Mad Monster Convention in Arizona. He came up to me at the table and said, dude, I just want to let you know I love your stuff, blah, blah, blah. But I also became an associate producer. It was amazing. It was awesome. It was absolutely fantastic. So he was our 13th associate producer, which was awesome. Now, of course, Indiegogo does take their fees, right? We don't get all 144,799, unfortunately. That would be great if we did, but we don't, and that's not just for our campaign, that's for any campaign. Indiegogo obviously has to make money too, and they do take fees as well. So again, this is the total that's being raised right now, 144,799. We're at 146,694. We just did get the money into the account, which was great. It went into the account the other day, I believe. It went into the account, so it's sitting in our account right now, which is good. It's there, it's ready to be used, and everything is perfect. So, but again, like I said, guys, there's lots of stuff. You can still pick up perks. You can pick up Blu-rays. You can pick up hoodies and t-shirts. Anything that's available, you can still pick up. So if you want that epic Halloween stream on Saturday, October the 28th to happen, where I watch Halloween 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in one gigantic stream that lasts about, 7 or 8 hours, I'll have a couple of giveaways. I'll have some guests on. It's going to be fucking epic. If you want that stream to happen, then we got to get those Blu-ray sales up. If you've been thinking about it, humming and hawing about it, now's your time. Pick up the double blue perk, because, obviously you would get both chapter 1 and 2. You're not going to want to miss it. I'm just saying. The campaign is in demand, and if we can raise look, hey, if we can get to one, if we can get this total right here, that total right there, if we could get that to 150, I'm not saying today. I'm just saying that if we could get that to 150, that would be awesome. Because remember, we don't get 150, right? Because Indiegogo again takes their fees, right? But I'm just saying, if we can get that to 150, that would be great, because then that means that we have that extra that we're definitely going to need. So I'm just saying, don't forget about it. It's there. Don't forget about it. 2 associate producer perks left. The link to the campaign is at the top of the chat room here. Again, and if you don't want to buy a perk, donations. You just scroll to the end of where the perks are, and you will see a little thing that says contribute here with like 2 shaking hands. And you can donate $5, $10, $100, $500, whatever you want to donate, you can donate, and they're not associated with any perks. So that means that you won't get anything in the way of perks from us. Like I said, so maybe you've already got your Blu-rays, your hoodies, your t-shirts, whatever the case is, and you're like, well, I don't want another Blu-ray. I don't want 10 Blu-rays, 5 hats, and whatever. That's fine. That's fine. You can just donate too. And that always helps. So just being totally transparent and totally honest with you guys, that's how to read that number right there. The one that's not in bold is where we ended up on July the 1st when the campaign closed, from 1,161 backers. This is where we're currently sitting, 146,694 from 1,172 backers. So again, would love to see that number clear, I should say, 150. That would be cool. That would be really cool. And with a couple associate producer perks, it could nearly do that. So just saying. Jonathan Ball says, Dave, is there a double digital option? Not yet, but we're in the works of trying to make that happen. We're in the works of trying to make that happen. All right, let me go back over here. Beep, 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 beep. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. You guys missed that, didn't you? Somewhat dweeb says, out of curiosity, how much does Indiegogo or Kickstarter take when these projects are funded? Like 30 to 40%? No. Well, I can't speak on Kickstarter. I can't speak on, but Indiegogo, it's I have to double check, but it's between Indiegogo fees, the payment processing platform fees, it's close to maybe 10%, something like that. Like it's somewhere around there. And it's enough. It's enough that you would it's enough where you would go, be nice to have that 10%. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not mad at Indiegogo. I mean, they're a business. They have to make, obviously they're going to take a percentage, right? Yeah, YouTube takes 30% of every super chat. So if you send in a $10 super chat, I only get $7 of it. YouTube takes $3, right? Well, I'm not mad at YouTube. I mean, maybe you think, well, it's kind of, maybe it'd be nice if it wasn't quite 30%. But at the same time, you're like, well, of course they're going to take something. They are allowing you to use their platform, and the overhead to run YouTube is millions, if not billions of dollars. So obviously they're going to do that, right? Same with Indiegogo, same with Kickstarter, all that kind of stuff. But that's why, right? That's why it's so important to get that campaign into In Demand, and then you can continue to raise some funds after the fact, make up sort of maybe what you lost in fees. Do you know what I'm saying? And kind of, I've been talking about this for months, and if you've never run a campaign, if you've never done it, I know it might seem strange, all the things I'm saying, but if you've done it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I always like to be fully transparent and honest with my backers and my viewers, so you know what's going on. So you know what's going on and how it works and where the money's being allocated and what's going on and what's happening and why. Okay, so now it's in demand. So what does that mean? Hang on a second. I thought you raised all the money, but now you're in demand. Well, I don't. Well, this is why we're in demand, and this is why, what that means. And it's great if we can do this, we can get this, and all that kind of stuff. Because that level of transparency and honesty, I believe, is all about the relationship that you have with your backers and your viewers, because it's about communication and keeping that communication going. And if there's something I don't know, then I'm not going to lie and pretend. I'm going to say, you know what? That's a really good question. I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't know. Let me see if I can find that out. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes you don't know, and you got to double check on stuff and figure things out and all that kind of stuff. So the good news is that the money we did raise, minus their fees, of course, did go into the account. It's there. It's in our business account. It's ready to rock. It's ready to go. That's fantastic. But we're in demand now, which is great. And now that's the whole point. Indiegogo says, hey, you can raise more money now. And listen, anybody who's trying to run a business, start a business, get a product off the ground, a service, make a movie, whatever the case is, they will always tell you, well, of course you could always use more money. Of course, because these are expensive ventures, right? They're expensive ventures. So, so just letting everybody know that by all means, if, to continue to donate, pick up a perk, buy a gift for your friend, it's still there. Like the initial major crowdfunding campaign is done, right? It is done. We did it. We can make the movie, we did it. But of course we can only make raising more. I mean, I'm not saying $100,000 more. I'm just saying raising a bit more will absolutely only help us to make an even better movie, right? And cover those costs that we know are going to come up with union fees and all that kind of stuff and that little bit extra. And we did reach our stretch goal. We did do that 100%. Absolutely. And that helped us I can tell you that helped us big time, massively. But now we're in that extra, right? Where it's like, hey, let's raise a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? If you've never made a movie, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. And you think I'm being some sort of snake oil salesman. But if you've made a movie, or if you've tried to make a movie at this level, you're sitting there going, yep, I get it. Totally. 100%. 100%. Right. This is the reality of when you're making a, real indie film, with union actors and, crew and stakes and locations and insurance and craft services and accommodations and airfare and post-production. And, It's a big deal. It's the biggest thing I've ever worked on, and it's nothing in the world of Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, anyways, I just want to say that in case, because there might be some people that are watching after the fact going, hang on a sec, I thought this was done. Like, I thought it was over. You just go do it. I just fucking go do it. And it's like, yes, but that's why we're in demand. That's why we're in demand. So I would love to sell off, not necessarily today. I'm just saying, I would love to sell off those 2 associate producer perks that are still available. Because that's it. There's only 2 of those available. And then we have a nice 15 associate producers. That's going to be amazing. You're going to have all your names up there, like 5, 10, 50, like 3 rows of associate producer perks or something. It's kind of cool. DJ Dream Entertainment, ENT, sends in $4.99. Thank you very much. Says, hey, Dave, I remember you mentioned a true crime story you were fascinated with, but I can't remember the name of the person or the nickname of the crime. Was it the Mara Murray case? It was probably her, Mara Murray or Maura Murray, Maura Murray. If you YouTube her, have fun going down the rabbit hole because it's a hell of a rabbit hole. I think it's that one. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's that one. Evil Monsterism says, Dave, I would never call you a snake oil salesman unless you were trying to sell copies of Halloween Ends. Well, there you go. No, of course not. I mean, I pride myself on my reputation on the channel. I think my reputation of honesty and transparency through Billy Chapter 1 and so far through Billy Chapter 2 speaks for itself. But I'm always gaining new viewers. And there's when you're dealing with money, especially, thousands of dollars, in this case, over 100 G's, there are people out there that may, because they may be naive to the process, they don't really understand what it takes to make a movie. I can go out and make a short film for, $10. Well, yeah, and it's going to look like you made it for $10. I mean, there's a difference, right? How much a movie costs all depends on the logistics involved in that movie, right? You know what I'm saying? And this is legit, exactly like what we did with, part 1, what Vince is doing with Never Hike Alone, what we're doing with Billy Chapter 2. I mean, these are fan films, yes, because we have to put that label on it, but these are really, at the end of the day, these are, indie films. And, so it costs more because we are dealing at a professional level with professional grade cinematic cameras and equipment and production insurance and unions and actors and crew and, all the shit that I always talk about. So it costs a lot. And to always have that cushion and to have that more, because you're dealing with fees and contingency things that might pop up and all that kind of stuff, it's important. And like I said, even in our world, it's still nothing. Hey, oh my God, you raised $140,000. Yeah, and in the world of Hollywood, that's like nothing. That's like, I don't know, 5 minutes on like a Mission Impossible movie. You know what I mean? I mean, it's insane. It's insane. But I always like to be transparent and honest and upfront because I do know there could be some people, again, to no fault of their own, but they've never made a movie. They don't really understand all that goes into making, a real film, and all the things you have to do and the paperwork and the legwork and all this stuff. And so that's why I like to be honest and transparent and let you know where it's going, why we're raising this. Now we're in demand. Here's what we would like from being in demand, right? We raised our goal. Now we raised our stretch goal. Now we're in demand. Here's what we would love from being in demand. And one of those things would be to sell off those other 2 associate producer perks. Would love that, right? Let's get that gone. That would be great. There's a couple of grand extra for us right there would be amazing, right? And all that kind of stuff. And then maybe sell more of those Blu-rays, right? You know what I mean? And there's still tons of other stuff like t-shirts and hoodies and autographs and all that kind of stuff. So I just like to mention it and I like to be honest and transparent because I do know, again, when you're dealing with lots of money, it can be a very touchy subject for people when they don't understand the process and what's going on and how it all works and why do you need that when I can go out and just do it for this, and why do you need that when so-and-so did it for this, and if so-and-so did it for this, why do you need it for that? And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of skepticism and a lot of stuff like that, right? And I understand that totally. And that's why I feel it's my job to be as open and honest and transparent with all of my backers and with you as possible as where it's going, what we need it for, why we're asking for this, what's happening, what do we expect from In Demand now, and all that kind of stuff, right? I think it's only fair. I think it's only fair because, there's new people that are tuning in all the time, new viewers that are tuning in all the time. And again, if you've never made a film, I don't mean a, backyard in your, in your backyard with your friends or a student film. I'm talking about a film where you're dealing with ACTRA and SAG and, and all this stuff. It's the real deal. And so there's it's not cheap. it's not cheap. So, but it's going to be fucking worth it, man. We are working our asses off behind the scenes to make this happen. We just announced today our final cast member. I always want to say Glenn Michael. It is Glenn Michael Grant. I want to say Glenn Michael Hall, like Anthony Michael Hall. Glenn Michael Grant. We announced today Glenn Michael Grant will be playing Detective Mike Henney in It's Me Billy Chapter 2. He's the last one that we needed to cast. So welcome aboard, Glenn. Really appreciate it. Made that announcement today. So it's nice to get that, the final cast member down. We are currently at this very moment working on our shooting schedule because we have to have the shooting schedule done before we can submit to the unions. Because in order for us to go ahead, we can't just go ahead and make the movie. The union has to approve it. So we have to, because we're using union actors, and the union has to look at our project and go, okay, you can make this movie with our actors. That's why, this is the real deal here, folks, right? This is how it works. And so we have to have a shooting schedule. We have to submit that to the union. We have to submit a script to the union. We have to submit proof of production insurance to the union. We have to submit all the paperwork that comes with filing that to the union. And that has to be, submitted too, before we can ever go to camera. So, and this is the stuff we're dealing with, right? Contracts, all that kind of stuff. This is the stuff we're dealing with right now. So, again, full transparency, right? Being totally honest with you. This is what you got to do. This is what we're doing. So, and it's great. It's tedious. It's a lot of hard work. It's a great learning experience. Again, I'm used to the union, stuff and how it all works being an actor on the other side. But of course, I've never been dealing with it from this side, from the filmmaking side. So this is a learning experience for me as well. It's been tedious and interesting. And obviously, we have an entertainment lawyer as well, who, we're dealing with and receiving advice from and all that. So there's a lot of stuff that I don't just mention every day that I've just told you here that hopefully gives you some idea like, oh shit, okay, yeah, there's a lot going on. Like there's a lot going on. Do you know what I mean? And so, that's why it's so important that the campaign is in demand. And it's like, yeah, we could use more. We definitely could. Just saying. So the link to the campaign is pinned to the top of the chat room. Again, if you don't want to pick up a perk, you can donate as well. You don't have to pick up anything, but you can donate. Every little bit helps. If I had a goal, obviously I'd love to get those Blu-rays up because I'd love to be able to do that probably like a 7 or 8 hour stream on October the 28th. But I'd also like to sell off those 2 associate producer perks that are left. There's only 2 of those left. It actually says 2 remaining. And it's like, oh, that'd be great to sell those off. That'd be really cool. But that's what's going on. Let me see here. Somewhat Dweeb sends in $4.99 and says, with the strikes going on, do you think studios that own certain IPs might buy the rights to high quality fan films and sell them as actual films? Probably not, because I don't think the strike's going to last that long. I think, now when I say I don't think the strike's going to last that long, I mean, I don't think it's going to last that long, where a situation would pop up where they would feel like they needed to do that. I think you can expect the strike to last at least a month minimum. I'd be surprised if it resolved itself like, next week, although anything's possible. I anticipate the strike's going to move into September, maybe even October. That's why we are getting prepared to take advantage of those waivers that SAG presents for independent producers that are not associated with the studios, which we would qualify. Excuse me. And so, because the earliest we would go to camera would be the end of November. Now, are we going to go to camera the end of November? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know yet. That's what we're looking at, because that would follow a similar schedule as chapter 1. So actually, it'd be the exact same. It might even be the same week. So we're kind of anticipating, well, why don't we just do that again? That worked for us before. Why not see if we can do that again? But I mean, there could be a variety of reasons that causes us to delay. Maybe we actually shoot in December. Maybe we have to delay and we don't shoot till January, February. Who knows? But the goal is end of November. And so if the strike is still going at the end of November, which it could very well be, because I've spoken to some people that say it might last until the end of the year. You never know. I mean, the WGA strike has been going on since May. Then that's when we would have to, take advantage of those waivers. But I don't think the strike's going to last long enough to the point where studios are like, oh my God, we need to, buy these fan films because, we're running out of money or content. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen at all. And they couldn't do that anyway because we're using union members, right? So if they bought the rights to our fan films, well, our fan films now become studio productions that have union members in it. So they couldn't release them anyway because SAG's on strike. So, you know what I mean? So it wouldn't really work anyway. Danita Brown says, Dave, appreciate you breaking it all down for us and keeping us in the loop. Yeah, no worries at all. Well, I like to be honest. I like to be honest and transparent, and because, there's a lot of money that's being exchanged, right? And I think it's only fair that you all know where it's going and why, what does in demand mean? Why is it there? Why are they hoping to raise more? All that kind of stuff. That's important. Trust and transparency is vital. That's how we handled chapter 1. That's part of the reason why we were so successful all the way through. And I mean, the pandemic delayed a lot of us getting certain things to you guys in terms of perks and things like that, right? Because a lot of our vendors were still behind and all that kind of stuff. But as long as you're transparent and you're communicating to your backers and you're giving people updates and things like that, as long as your backers feel acknowledged, because I know this is how I feel. As long as people feel acknowledged, they feel respected. And if they feel acknowledged and respected, they feel heard. They feel that their worries or concerns are being taken seriously or their questions are being answered. And that's really important. And nothing grinds my gears more that when I email a company or I email somebody and I never hear back, or I get wishy-washy answers, or, I hate that. It doesn't give me confidence that I'm going to receive my product. It doesn't give me confidence that they even give a fuck about me at all. So I hate that shit. So it's very important to me. That's why we handled chapter 1 the way we did. It's very important to me that we've raised over $140,000 here. And it's important to me that our backers and our viewers know where that's going, what's going on. We're in demand now. What does that mean? I thought you already raised the money. What's it? And it's important that we let you know what that means and why we could use that extra money and all that. That's important because that relationship that you build with your audience, your viewers, and your customers, essentially, that's who you are. You're my customers. When you build that relationship, and it's incredibly important. And you're also, you are also part of this film. You're part of this journey. And it's just as much our film as it is your film, or just as much your film as it is our film. Yeah, anyways, you can say it both ways, I guess. But it's true. So I feel that's incredibly important to be able to do that. And so again, like I said, the campaign's in demand. The link's at the top of the chat room. I know the hype train is not, what it was during the months of May and June, but it's in demand for a reason. And we can still use that extra funds, folks. Like we really can. Trust me, we absolutely can. So anything helps. Anything helps. And like I said, I'd love to sell off those 2 associate producer perks. That would be really cool to be able to actually do that. Oliver Mercer sends in 10 pounds. It says, question regarding sorting out things regarding the process from the background. How long does it take to sort it out? Everything. Just curious, Dave. Plus, what's the most challenging regarding this? The background? Question regarding sorting out things regarding the process from the background. Not quite sure what you mean, Oliver. How long does it take to sort it out? To sort out everything? Just curious. Plus, what's the most challenging? What are you referring to, Oliver? I'm just not quite sure what you're referring to specifically. Not quite sure. Let me know. Just another horror fan says, Dave, did Cecil have to go through the union using Miko? Is he helping you out if he went through it? Yes, absolutely. Both Ron Sloan, Miko, 100%. 100%. And of course there's me too. Now, of course, I'm not SAG, but yes, they did have to go through SAG for them. So, and of course, Vince has to go through SAG because he's using Tom Matthews. And of course we have Olivia Hussey on board and of course we're also union here in Canada as well. The union here in Canada is ACTRA, which stands for the Alliance of Canadian Cinema, Television, Radio Artists. And so, for on camera, again, this isn't voiceover, this is on camera. Victoria is union and Caro is union and Lynn is union and Glenn, who we just he's union and so so there's a lot of things that we're dealing with in that regard too as well. We can't just go and shoot. We're not allowed to do that. So it has to be approved. And so you have to submit your project to the unions, get their approval, and then you can go and shoot. That's how it works. But yes, Miko is union, so is Ron Sloan, and so is Cindy. I always forget her last name. She's union as well. Let me see. Oliver, did you follow up, Oliver? I just wasn't quite sure what you were saying there, but thank you for the appreciate that. Davey Deathray says, Dave, will you need matte painters for post-production? I know it may be a ways out, but my brother has worked in the industry for years now, and I know he'd like to contribute his talent and skills. Very cool. I don't think so. That's really cool. Being a matte painter, oh my God, it's an old school skill, but so cool and so important and can still be utilized today. Absolutely. That's really cool, man. I didn't know that. That's really cool. I don't think so, but when the time comes, I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted for sure. That's really cool. Geeked Out Turtle Fan says, get the extra funds in for those. It's Me, Billy, Chapter 2 thongs, people. That's it. Yeah, get those funds in for It's Me, Billy, Chapter 2 thongs. That's what I'm saying. But there we are. Yeah, sitting there. Okay, I'm just going to say, could we hit 147,000 today? We're at 146,694. 146,694. We're literally $306 away from 147. Who's going to get us to 147? Who's going to get us to 147? Do you 147? Do you 147? 147, 147, 147, 147, 147. Who's going to get us to 147? I don't know. Again, that's the total raise. Don't think that, that, again, Indiegogo takes their fees. But I think that's totally doable by the end of the stream today. I think that's totally doable. Mother Mayhem! My goodness, Mother Mayhem has showed up. She says, I can't believe I'm finally catching one live again. Amazing. Great to have you here. You were a great supporter, obviously, through the pandemic and It's Me Billy Chapter 1. And of course, everybody was home during that time. And we were, of course, I was home. Well, I'm always home because I do most of my work from my home studio. But yeah, it was crazy time that 3 years ago. That was absolutely crazy indeed. Trevor Bristow says, I've been wanting to tell you this. Have you seen Top Gun Maverick yet? I have not. I've been on a Tom Cruise kick since I'm seeing Mission Impossible tomorrow. Do you think Tom Cruise is the last true movie star? I would say, well, he's definitely, no, you still have the likes of, it depends on what you're measuring, right? obviously, Harrison Ford is one of the greats. Tom Hanks, he's up there as well. Is Tom Cruise right now an incredibly successful movie star in his older age? The thing that Tom Cruise has going for him is that his movies are still continuing to be he's producing big budget blockbusters, mainly the Mission Impossible movies. I mean, that's really what he's doing. And I know he had Top Gun Maverick, but outside of that, where Tom Cruise is excelling and what's keeping him quite relevant are these Mission Impossible movies. If Tom Cruise stopped doing Mission Impossible movies, I don't know. I mean, his Jack Reacher movies weren't Mission Impossible movies, right? And so he's, but for whatever reason, he's hit a nice sort of ride here with these Mission Impossible movies, and he's a legend. He's one of them. He's one of the last great movie stars for sure that happens to be still dishing out, box office summer blockbusters. Your Harrison Ford, obviously, who just did Indiana Jones 5, obviously not succeeding at the box office, but he's obviously, but he's also 20 years older than Tom Cruise, and he's sort of dipped back into sort of smaller roles now. Tom Hanks is a few years older than Cruise. I think he's maybe 7 or 8 years older than Cruise. I'm not sure. But he's kind of, he's not doing that those Tom Hanks kind of epic films anymore either. But it depends what we're measuring, right? I mean, if it's movie star that's still dishing out the summer blockbusters, sure. Because there's not too many of those old school movie stars that are doing that anymore. But he's only doing it, in the way of really Mission Impossible. Outside of Mission Impossible, I'm not quite sure, where that'll lie. But Oliver says about the process. Oh, here we go. About the process about Billy 2. Mainly, I guess, what's the most challenging situation you had to deal with overall? Well, I think the most challenging thing to deal with overall is I would say, because we've become a union shoot. So It's Me, Billy Chapter 1 was a non-union shoot. This is a union production because everybody who was non-union on Chapter 1's now union. So now we're dealing with, the Screen Actors Guild and ACTRA here in Canada. And from, again, I know about that on the voiceover side, obviously, but, on the film side, it's a bit different, although there are a lot of parallels. So I would say just getting ready and prepping for that. Obviously, for us to be able to move forward with this production, as I mentioned briefly a bit earlier, and I will talk in more detail about it when Bruce and I get on a stream together, but obviously we had to open up our own production company. And we had to do that. We couldn't make this movie without doing that. Or find a production company to produce it for us. And we thought, well, let's just do it ourselves. And we also have to join, as I said, the CMPA, which is the Canadian Media Producers Association. We have to join that. We can't make the movie without doing that because we are a full-scale union shoot now. And so with that comes rules and regulations around that. So that's been, I think, part of the most challenging aspect. Whereas with Billy 1, we had a lot more leeway. When you're union, there's scale. There's certain, there are certain things actors must be paid. It's not what you can afford. It's they get paid this based on this, and this, based on your budget, based on this, based on that. This is what, you know what I'm saying? And this is what, these are the rates. And if that's what you have to pay the actors. And so there's a lot of, dealing with that side of the situation it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of, paperwork and details. But if you want to make a living at this, if you want to make movies, I mean, as Bruce and I do, we want to make original films and films that maybe one day you could see in a theater or watch on Netflix or something. Well, those are union productions. So, doing this with a film like It's Me, Billy Chapter 2 is a great learning experience. It's great getting our feet wet from the producing side. We're learning a lot about the producing side of a union gig, and it's great experience. It's going to look great in the portfolio, and if when we pull this off, we will have pulled off a full-fledged union shoot. So it's exciting, but it's a lot of hard work. And I would say that that's been the most challenging so far, because there's a lot of stuff we have to do that we did not have to do for chapter 1. And we have to do it for chapter 2, or chapter 2 does not get made. So that's been, I think, some of the most challenging. Calvonix, hey, what's going on? Calvonix Music sends in $5, says, did it ever bother you that the gunshots affected Michael in H2, but boiling water to the hands doesn't? Love the kill, but the part always bugged me. No, it never really bothered me. I think what bothers me more is that he was shot 6 times in part 1, but 7 times in part 2. Somebody probably was like, how many times was he shot in part 1? 6 times. And they thought that individual meant 6 times in the room, and didn't also include the gunshot in the hall, which it does in part 1. But in part 2, he's actually shot 7 times before he falls off the balcony. So I think that probably bugged me more than that I would say the boiling water on the hands and all that kind of jazz. Let me see here. Scrolling back, what are we up here? We're at only an hour and 11 minutes. Okay, hour and 11 minutes. Hour and 11 minutes. Just scrolling back. I haven't missed any super chats, have I? Oh, hang on. I got the Oliver Mercer. I don't think I missed any. Let me just see. I don't believe I have anyway. I just want to make sure. All right. Oh, close that down. I got too many tabs that are open. Robert Thidoff says, Dave, I've been an extra in around 10 films and can be seen, and it makes my blood boil that these studios could AI exploit my pretty face without paying me. Kidding, but not kidding. Yeah, no, that's a big issue. Obviously, that's a big issue. All I'll say to this is like I've been saying all week is, if you are not familiar with how the industry works now and what's going on, and you're only paying attention on the peripheral, then it could come across to you that rich and snobby actors are striking because they want more money. That's not what this is about. SAG-AFTRA is a union of about 160,000 people, and where only 1% of them are making a living as an actor. This isn't about Tom Cruise bitching, complaining he's not getting enough money. This is about the other 98, 99% of actors that can't even make a living wage as an actor, that have to be a bartender and act. And, it's not like, folks, please understand that in order to be SAG, you don't have to be a movie star. You don't have to be a leading man. You don't have to be like, I remember watching and I'm paraphrasing this, but I remember watching the director's commentary for A Nightmare on Elm Street years ago. And the scene at the beginning of the movie when Tina wakes up and her mother's like, Tina, you okay? Right? And she walks into the room, and then Tina's dad, I guess it's the dad, or maybe, I don't know, her lover or something. Not Tina's lover, but, the mom's lover, whatever. Comes into the room and is like, baby, come on. Come on back to bed. Come on. Do you remember that scene? He's just like, come on. He doesn't give a fuck about Tina, right? And the mother's like, yeah, okay. Tina, you better cut your fingernails or stop that kind of dreaming. Do you remember that? Okay. Well, I remember during the director's commentary, Wes Craven was sort of, not making fun, but he was poking fun at the actor who was the man in that scene going, come on, baby, come back to bed. Because he joked, again, I'm paraphrasing, but he joked about how, he's got like two lines, and he said, I think that got him his SAG card or his union card. You know what I'm saying? So again, in order to be a union member, to be a SAG actor, okay, you have, now in Canada, you have to be booked on one union gig, and then you're allowed to become an apprentice member. I'm sure it's similar in the States. And then you have to get booked on 2 more gigs. It used to be 6, but you have to get booked on 2 more gigs that are union. And then you can become a full union member. But that doesn't mean you're working. That doesn't mean you're a movie star. That doesn't mean you're making $9 million a year. That just means that you are now a union member. You can get health benefits and dental and insurance and all that kind of stuff. And now you're able to work on union projects, which means you can audition for the projects that would wind up in the movie theaters and on streaming and on Netflix. You can get, if you can be a supporting role in Stranger Things or, whatever the case is. Non-union actors can't. See, if you're a non-union actor and you get booked on Stranger Things, you immediately have to join the union in order to be able to work on Stranger Things. You have to do that. So anyways, I see a lot of posts from people, but I just roll my eyes. It's just because these people are naive. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They think that the movie stars are striking. Well, yes, they are striking too, but it's not because they don't feel that $9 million I made wasn't enough. It has nothing to do with that. It's really about the other 98 to 99% of actors that are just working actors. They're the best friend. They're the supporting role. They're the convenience store clerk. They're the police officer that's got 2 lines that's talking to Jamie Lee Curtis in, a Halloween movie. They're the, whatever. That's 98% of SAG, right? So, and it's these people. And it's not just them. I mean, it's them, but it's also the B-list actors, maybe not the A-list stars, but maybe it is a face that you would recognize, but they're not an A-list star. But you're like, oh, yeah, no, I know that actor. Well, guys, just because you're an actor doesn't mean you're rich. Just because you're in a Hollywood movie doesn't mean you're rich. It doesn't mean you're making millions of dollars. Just because you're in a movie with Brad Pitt, yeah, Brad Pitt's making $20 million a movie, sure. But the guy who's sitting next to him on the train, who's got 5 lines with him, he's probably paid a day rate of like, I don't know, $900 or something. I mean, he's not leaving the set, hopping in his Lamborghini and going home. That's not how it works. First of all, they couldn't do that. The industry would die. You can't pay everybody that kind of money. So that's the vast majority of SAG. Are those actors, right? That's why when you look at the picket lines of SAG, if you've been following it on social media and you see everybody on the streets with the signs, or you see, that's why you don't recognize any of them. That's why they all look like they just walked out of Apple or something, or, Google, or they're just like, the person that works down the street at your Starbucks, because it is. That's 98% of the union. And then every now and then you'll see somebody, a movie star show up to help because it's the movie stars that are going to change the studio's minds. It's the movie stars that have the say, because the studios don't give a shit about all these other actors because they aren't the people that bring in the money. But when SAG goes on strike, that's everybody. So it's the movie stars that also go on strike. And that's why the studios want to make a deal fast, hopefully. I mean, right now they're in the spite stage. They're angry at each other. But eventually, hopefully cooler heads will prevail and they will, go back to the bargaining table. But yeah, no, I see that, Robert, and it's as an actor, as a professional voice actor, who understands all about unions and things like that. And ACTRA up here in Canada is not on strike, thank goodness. But obviously, everybody up here, we support it 100%. We know what's going on down there. As a voice actor, I know all about AI and how it's impeding and insidiously creeping into the voiceover world as well. So, yeah, if we don't nip these things in the ass now, there's gonna be a real problem. But if you are somebody that thinks that this is a strike about rich actors complaining they're not getting enough money, that's not what this is about. Do the movie stars have their own issues in terms of residuals or certain things? Sure, absolutely. But this isn't a strike about a bunch of movie stars who got together and were like, I don't think that 9 mil was enough personally. That's not what this is about. So please educate yourself, shut up and educate yourself before you post, because you don't want to come across as an ignorant fool, and you do if you say something like, "Oh, fuck those actors, man. They should just be happy with it." That's not what this is about. And I know that's not a very nice thing for me to say, but I can tell you, as a professional who works in the industry, who spent 22 years in the industry as a voice actor, who's dealt with unions and who's union, I can tell you that that's not what this is about. It's not what it's about, guys. It's not what it's about. So just please educate yourselves and understand, and take a look at those picket lines. Take a look at those picket lines. Do you recognize anybody? Here, let me bring one up. SAG strike. Let's look at this. SAG strike. Go to Google Images. It's got to be a picket line here. Yeah, there's a good. Hang on. No, that's that. It's got to be a good picket line. There's Fran Drescher, of course. She's everywhere. But she's in a lot of these. Here's one. Here's a good one. I'll move that over here. Here we go. We go to the other screen. Other screen. Da 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 da. There we go. There you go. You see that? Do you recognize that woman? What about the woman behind her? What about the guy in the hat? No, it just looks like your grandma, right? Yeah, that's who's striking, folks. The 98% and the 2% that are working that make a living and are movie stars. Absolutely, they are too. But that's the face of the strike right there. That woman is a SAG member, and she probably, has been in some shit that we would have seen for sure, 100%. But she's probably not a multimillionaire, and she's probably has her own little coffee shop or something. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, it just bothers me, like, please stop that nonsense. But anyway, AK Channel TV sends in $4.99, says, "Hey Dave, long time. I was wondering if you think legislation should be put in place to limit the bounds of AI. We shouldn't sacrifice jobs for tech." Yeah, I do. I mean, absolutely. Well, that's what part of this is about, right? I mean, that whole situation about fighting for that is what it's about. That is what this is about, and it's part of it. I mean, the whole idea that the studios want to be able to scan background perform. Now, why would they want to do that, right? Because they want to save money. The studios thought, listen, if we could scan, like, I understand what they're saying. If we can scan background performers, we can digitally log their likeness and their image into a digital vault. And anytime we need background performers, we can just use them. We pay them for that one day, and then we don't have to pay them ever again. And think of the money we'll save on background performers. Okay, when you think about it logically, yeah, it makes sense. But the part that is a big no-no is the never paying them ever. Excuse me? No. If you're going to, listen, one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to pay me $5 billion to use me for the rest of my life, or you're going to pay me every fucking time my face winds up in the background of a fucking movie. Because there I am, David McRae. And I didn't get paid for it. So yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. And like I said yesterday, that's just the tip of the iceberg, right? If we don't nip this AI shit and here's another thing too, the union's not against AI. SAG has said, we're not against AI. We just feel that there needs to be, hang on, whoa. There either needs to be major compensation or specific rules and regulations in place. You can't just scan somebody, pay them a few $100 and say, thanks, now I'm going to use you for the rest of your life. Well, that's not how this works. And so, yeah, that's just a huge no-no. It's a huge no-no. To use somebody's likeness, would you be okay with that? Would you be okay? Average Joe in the chat room who's not an actor, would you be okay if I scanned your image? Okay. I scanned your likeness, your face, your image, everything. You, totally you. And I gave you $300. And I said, great, now I can use this for the rest of your life and there isn't a fucking thing you can do about it. And I'm going to put you in the background of Stranger Things and this and that. Now, maybe you might go, I think that's cool. I'm in the background. Yeah, maybe if you're not an actor or you are naive and you don't understand that the money you could be making from that. But if you found out, wow, hey, here's a check for all the money you missed out on, you'd look at that and go, fuck! You don't know what you have until, you know what I'm saying? You don't know what you're missing, basically, right? I'm not saying background performers make, hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm just saying that if let's say you wound up in the background of 30 movies and you're like, I don't care. That's cool, man. I'm in the background of those 30 movies. Yeah, for $300. Now here's the check for 50 grand you could have made from that. I'm just throwing out a number, just an arbitrary number, kind of thing. You look at that and go, oh, fuck, no way. And that's what this is about, right? It's the same thing with residuals, with streaming. It's a big thing right now, and Netflix and the streaming services don't want to cough up, residuals. And SAG's not asking for like 80% or something. I think it's like, is it 2% or something like that I got to look into it again. But, but I get it. I get it because network television, where residuals were abundance, is dying. And all these shows that wind up in these streaming services, the actors don't get residuals, so, and that's what the writers are fighting against as well. Certain things like that. Like it's all about not being taken advantage of. And so please understand that the vast majority of the entertainment industry are not multi-millionaires. Just because you work in the entertainment industry doesn't mean you're bringing home 9 figures. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean like everybody who works on Stranger Things, they're all millionaires. The DP, the producer, the cast, the set decorator, the script supervisor, they're all fucking driving Ferraris. No, they're not. No, they're not. I can tell you right now that the script supervisor probably gets back in his Toyota Corolla and goes home to his apartment. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's not what it is, folks. So it's just important that we understand that it's the 98% of SAG workers that are just trying to make a living, and certain people that are in positions of power have their own issues, for sure, 100%, but they're fighting for those people that I showed you. Like, you think Bob Iger gives a fuck about that person I showed you? You think he gives a shit about that? No. But do you think he gives a shit about some A-list movie star that's working for Disney? Yes. Now, I know his comments. I know what he said. But if the A-list stars are out there putting their foot down, the studios will more likely, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, that's why it's important. It's very, very, very important. It's like it's like if a sports team, right? They care about their stars, their superstars, right? They don't necessarily care about, the guy at the end of the bench. Oh, he's on strike? Pff, I don't care. But if the superstar goes, well, I'm with him, all of a sudden the general manager and the owners are like, whoa, wait, right? So that's why it's important that these movies, that's why it's important there's solidarity. That's why it's important there's solidarity. Anyway, hopefully I've been able to shed more light on that again. All right, we're going to wrap this up here in a second. I got the AK Channel TV. Scrolling down. Flex Symmetry says, think how they screwed over actors in the 70s and before. It's true. No residuals for all the reruns. Yeah, this would take us back for that. Yes, and the strike with SAG and the WGA, I think was SAG. Yeah. Anyway, the strike in 1960 was about health. Well, one of the issues was health insurance, health benefits, and pension. Before 1960, there was none of that. If you were a union member before 1960, you didn't get any health benefits. And the strike in 1960, and now you do. They have to nip this in the ass now. It's all fun and games because all we see right now is, fun, TikTok videos of deep fake Tom Cruise. Oh, it's so fun. Oh, look, it's so sweet and innocent. Yeah, it's sweet and innocent until it affects you. And so, yeah, I mean, I can tell you right now that if my voice was replicated and being used, I would sue the fucking shit out of that person without my permission. Oh, it's happening. Oh yeah, 100%. No, you're not going to use the likeness of my voice. It's clearly it's not going to happen, right? It's like what I said to you, my voiceover friend, Bev Standing, whose voice was being used illegally as the voice of TikTok. She sued them and they settled. I don't know for how much, but they settled. Good for her. I would have done the same fucking thing. I would have sued the shit out of TikTok. Knowing that they wouldn't, I would have sued them for some ridiculous number, knowing I would never receive that, just so we could settle out of court for a decent number. That's usually how those things go. I would have sued TikTok for like, I don't know, 500 million or something, or 800 million, some ridiculous, stupid number. And then there's no way I would have got it. But they would have settled for something a lot lower. So, yeah, but that's no. You want to use me? You pay me. I'm a professional, not your friend, not your buddy. I mean, I might be your friend or buddy, but I'm still a professional, right? It's like whatever profession you're in, all of you out there, whether you're a plumber, a police officer, whatever it is, right? You want to be paid, man, right? So this idea that the entertainment industry, people should just do it. No, that's not how it works. I mean, you want to hire somebody for free? Hire a student. Hire a college student. Hire somebody. You don't hire somebody who's got decades of experience and expect them to do shit. It's not how it works. Anyway, you can see I'm very passionate about it because I've seen it before. I've seen this shit before, and I've seen people get taken advantage of. I've had people try to take advantage of me. And it's like, that's not, no, man, so, I agree with you there. Yeah. It's a tricky thing. It's a tricky thing that needs to be nipped in the ass now, and I just hope more and more people realize that it's not yes, the movie stars are on strike, of course, because they have their own issues and they're standing in solidarity with SAG-AFTRA. Yes, of course. But it's not a strike about movie stars complaining that they're not getting paid. That's not what this is about. There's far more to it than that. So when you read about the strike, when you think about the strike, when you hear about the strike, just remember that little old lady that was on the sidewalk there with, her little sign. She's a SAG member too. She's been in some movies too, or commercials or, whatever. Steve Evans sends in $4.99, says, Dave, why can't they use an identical Shatner mold for the Halloween sequels? Was it a licensing issue with his likeness? It might have been. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It probably was. It probably was. Yes, although the Halloween 4 mask was, I believe, a Shatner mask, I think, or a Kirk mask. It was a Kirk mold or something. Obviously 5 wasn't and 6 wasn't and H2O wasn't. But I think 4 might have been, if I'm not mistaken. But it could have been a licensing issue. Yeah, for sure. And there you go again, right? Shatner's likeness. Well, we'll just use it. No. Why did they do that with the first Halloween? Well, because it was a low budget movie worth $320,000. And, it was just, it was guerrilla filmmaking, you know what I mean? But once it became a huge hit and it's like, oh, we got to kind of do this real now. We got to do this for real now. That can happen for sure. I don't know the details on that, but certainly that may have been an issue for sure. But yeah, just please remember the vast majority, only 2% of SAG are working actors. That's it. Think about that. So yeah, just remember that. Let me see. Okay. Got that. Have I got all the super chats? I just want to make sure. Have I got them all? I don't know if I have. I don't think we've gone up on the campaign. I was hoping to get to 147 on the campaign before the end of the stream. I know the hype's not really there anymore. And people are like, oh, I don't really care anymore. I understand, but I'm just saying, there's lots of stuff still there, folks. There's lots of stuff still there. We're in demand now, and we could really use those extra funds. I'm just saying, Blu-rays are still there, hoodies and t-shirts, autographs. 2 associate producer perks are left. And it would be really great to be able to get to that. I don't know what I did with that window, so I'm going to open up another window here. But it'd be great to sell those off eventually. Yeah, that's where we're sitting. That's where we're sitting. Whoops, that's where we're sitting right there. 146, 694, $306 away. $306 away from 147. Who's going to do it tonight? Anybody going to do it? Is anybody going to do it? Is anybody out there going to do it? Hey, all it could take too is just, 30 people donating, I don't know, what, 30 to, what it would be, 30 to 30, like 15 people maybe. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just saying that it's entirely possible, folks. I'd love to see it. Warren Armour says, happy birthday was copyrighted until a few years ago. Oh, the words happy birthday. Yeah, it's true. Rob Lucas says, I oftentimes pause Halloween 2, the hallway scene when Michael is on fire, and I talk to Michael for at least an hour while eating an egg salad, and Dad plays chess while Michael laughs. That's the way to do it. Not just egg salad, but try toasted peanut butter and jam sandwich. Pause it just as the explosion happens, and he's about to walk out. He's not quite out yet, and eat a toasted peanut butter and jelly, as you often people say in the States. Jelly, we say jam. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich, PB&J, and just kind of, and then ask your father to, instead of play chess, play checkers, and the dynamic of the whole experience changes. So remember, peanut butter and jelly sandwich, toasted peanut butter and jelly sandwich, not just peanut butter and jelly. It's got to be toast. You got to put that fucking bread in the toaster. Peanut butter and jelly, toasted jam sandwich, toasted peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Your father's playing checkers, not chess, and the dynamic of the whole experience changes. It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. I don't know who's going to do it. Come on, people. Get it out there, ladies and gentlemen. Davey Deathray says there's no choice but to stand with SAG-AFTRA members. Could not agree more. This AI stuff needs to be reeled in, and the performers must have a spot at the table to have the majority of the say in that regard. I could not agree more. Davey. It's a scary thing. It's so important. Again, the average person it doesn't affect. I get it. If it doesn't affect your day to day, you're just a movie fan. It's like, shut up and just entertain me. I get it. But the reality is, these are human beings. 98% of SAG cannot make a living as an actor. To make a living as an actor is an incredibly difficult thing. Now, again, it would depend on what your lifestyle is, of course. But a lot of actors only make $15,000 a year in the world of acting. That's why they are also bartenders or waiters or, car salesmen or insurance people or real estate agents, or, whatever the case is. They have other jobs. They have day jobs, because to get to the point where you are making a living as an actor, where you're like Jenna Ortega, you're Tom Cruise, you're Harrison Ford, that is only 1% of SAG. So it's incredibly difficult and incredibly important that we do have these stipulations in place. It's very important, and I support it 100%. 100%. And I hope they can. I hope they can find an agreement. I really do. Hope they can find an agreement. It is. That's right. Oliver says it's actually Heather Langenkamp's 59th birthday today, I believe. A lovely woman. Bless her. My favorite heroine, final girl overall. It is. Yes. Shout out. Big happy birthday to Heather Langenkamp. she's an iconic final girl, one of my favorite final girls, 100%. I think you could have put her in Halloween or even in Halloween 4. I think you could have put her in Halloween 4, and I think you could have put Heather Langenkamp's final girl in almost anything, and she would have been terrific. So I absolutely agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. She's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. All right, just scrolling back. Okay, I haven't missed any super chats, right? I don't believe I have. I just want to make sure. Let me just go back over here and see. I don't believe I have. Viewer activity. It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. And it looks like we haven't moved on the campaign. That's okay. That's okay. I'm just reminding people out there that it is still there. Oh, wait, we have gone up a little bit. Nice. I believe that was was it a $10 donation? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think it was a $10 donation. That's great. That's what I'm talking about. That's all it takes. That's all it takes, folks. Was a $10 donation. Who was that? Let's give them a shout out. Or an $8 donation, I think it was actually. It was Tabitha. Yeah, it was Tabitha. Donated $10. Thank you, Tabitha. I really appreciate that. Tabitha coming in. One of my great moderators here. Tabitha's got it started. Do I hear 30? Do I hear $30? $10 from Tabitha Show. $10 Tabitha Show. Do I hear $30? $30. Do I hear $5 million? No, I'm just kidding. But that's great. Thank you, Tabitha. Well, that gets us closer. That gets us closer to the 147, which is where I wanted to be. Now, and again, I will add, I mean, there might be, a couple of perks that, of course, I will add to the campaign while we're in demand. Obviously, that might drum up some interest from people to want to, donate and continue to contribute. But just remember that, there we go. Hey, we're like 290, 6, 4, whatever it is, away from 147. That's cool. And whatnot. But yeah, ultimately at the end of the day, my dream, if I had a dream, my goal for the campaign being in demand right now would be to sell off those last 2 associate producer perks. There's 2 associate producer perks left. So if you want your name in the end credits as an associate producer on It's Me Billy Chapter 2, being a part of Black Christmas history, and with the associate producer perk, you get a signed poster, you get, let me just see here, it's been a while since I've looked at this. With the associate producer perk, you get, I guess you can kind of see it there. With the associate producer perk, there it is. That's $1,500 Canadian. Remember, it's a lot cheaper for you guys in the States. For that, you get, hang on a sec. Why am I not? Hang on. Oh, I think it's frozen on me for some reason. It's not moving. Why are you not moving? The whole thing froze on me. Are we still, are we still live here? I think we're still live. Oh, wait. Hang on. Are we still live? Hang on a sec. Are we still live? Yeah, we are. We are. Okay, we are still live. Hang on. Okay. One second. Sorry about that. The thing froze on me. I was just scrolling down. It went over to the other page as if I was going to purchase the perk. It just froze on me for some reason. There we go. Okay, maybe this will work. It's probably because it's too big, Dave. That's what changed that. I said it for you because I know a lot of people will be like, hang on. This is so... Okay, one second here. I got to shrink this down. There we go. Okay, shrinking it down. Okay, doing this. Make this over like that. Do that. There we go. There we go. There we are. Okay, and then I can bring this down like that. Okay, that's a little better. That's a little better. We should be better now. There we go. So I just do that. There we go. So with the associate producer perk, again, there's only 2 available. See right there? It says only 2 left. Only 2 left, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just letting you know. If I had a goal for our campaign in demand, it would be to sell those last 2 off for sure, because there's only 2 left, and that would definitely help us out for sure. But you get, obviously, your name in the end credits. You get the digital download package. You get a It's Me Billy Chapter 2 t-shirt. You get a signed official poster. You get to be my guest on McRae Live. You get a It's Me Billy Chapter 2 Blu-ray. You get invited to the online advanced premiere, which is amazing. And you get the associate producer credit. And your name on IMDb as well. So it's a great perk. So just thought I would just mention it. Just a reminder that the campaign is still active. It's in demand. And, if you haven't got your Blu-rays yet, again, I want to be able to do that epic Halloween stream on October the 28th. I want to be able to do it. And as of right now, if we can get those Blu-ray sales up, closing in on 550 across all 3, across the board, I'll add them up. If we can even get to like 550 or 500, well, that is the goal, 545 or something. I'm like, all right, maybe I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that would help us out too. So anybody family, friends, things like that, continue to spread the word. It's the campaign's in demand now, and raising that little bit extra in demand goes a long way. Now, there's no doubt that once we launch the teaser trailer, whenever that'll be, obviously after the movie is finished completing, hopefully in time for Christmas, that will obviously draw more people to the campaign as well, because they'll be like, oh my God, I got, holy shit, Olivia, all that kind of stuff. So we'll probably see a spike then as well. But, you'll hear me talking about it from time to time, just reminding people out there that yes, the initial like the big 2-month campaign is over, but thanks to all of you, we are now in demand, and that means we can continue to raise funds and continue to spread that awareness, and it is only going to make our film stronger and better, and gain that following that we desperately need. So to have more eyeballs on our project and all that kind of stuff. We're doing well, but hey, we can always. Why not keep going, right? Why not? It's there. That's why in demand exists. So let's take advantage of it. That's all I'm saying. Let's take advantage of it. So if you haven't got your Blu-ray yet, jump on right now. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. Jump on right now. Pick up that Blu-ray. Pick up that T-shirt, or just donate a couple of bucks to the campaign. Well, Evil Alex, I would maybe talk to your bank and let them know. Maybe let them know, like, do you have Visa at all, or do you have something? Just let them know, because your bank is probably, it's probably being sort of like, it's not going through because it doesn't recognize it. So, or maybe you have a friend that can help you out or something, or I don't know. We'll see. We'll get it worked out. All right. So I don't think I missed any other super chats, right? I just want to make sure. I don't believe I did. Because I didn't see any others come in. So I just want to make sure. I don't believe I did. No. Okay. Last one was Steve Evans, right? The last one was Steve Evans. Okay. Steve Evans. Fear of the Phantom says, Dave, can you rank these films? Oh, Halloween 78, The Exorcist, Nightmare on Elm Street, The Conjuring, Psycho, The Others, Just the Shining. I don't know, man. It's hard for me to do rankings right on the spot, because I tend to, I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. I like all of them, though. Let's just put it that way. I like them all. I definitely like them all. I like them all. Evil Monsterism says, Dave, I have a very relevant Halloween question. What's your favorite soft drink? I don't know. I mean, I do like Coca-Cola, like Coke, just a nice Coke is always good. I don't know if I have a favorite. I like Dr. Pepper. I like Mountain Dew. I like Coke. I like ginger ale. I'm not that picky, really. Orange Crush, Grape Crush. I'm not that picky. I don't think I have a favorite because I don't drink it. Like, I can't remember. I mean, the last time I had like a soft drink, it's been I'm going to say at least 3 or 4 years. Like, I don't drink it very often. Not very often. Not very often. All right. Okay, we'll go another 10 minutes. We'll take it to 2 hours. We'll go another 10 minutes. We'll take it to 2 hours. So, yeah, we'll just take it to 2 hours. That's what we'll do. We'll take this sucker to 2 hours. Let me see. Ian David Strain says, I've missed these lives. Yeah, well, we're here. I'm here. This was McRae Live, though. McRae Lives, I like to have like a topic at the beginning, and then we move into the Q&A. Like regular streams, Q&As are usually just Q&As from the start. With my McRae Lives, I'll always try to do my best to have like a main topic that I talk about for like 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever it is, and then I jump into the Q&A part, which is what I like to do. I like to do it a lot, man. Yeah. Rob Lucas says, I can't stop drinking Coca-Cola. Oh, Rob, you may want to think about, moderation. It's a lot of sugar. You got to watch that diabetes and all that kind of stuff, Rob. So I'd be careful. If you're young, it may not be affecting you now, but it's going to catch up to you one day. So moderation, right? It's not about what we eat or drink. It's about how much of what we eat or drink. We can have cake and chips and cookies and soft drinks and chocolate and candy, and we can have all that. We just shouldn't have it every day, all day. You save it for a special occasion. Maybe you have like a cheat day, like once a week. You know what? It's Friday night. I'm going to have a bag of chips and I'm going to watch a movie. There you go. But you just make sure you don't have a bag of chips like, every day. That's how to do it. All right. Let me see. Okay, I'm just going to go over to the other side. Make sure I haven't missed any super chats. I don't think I have. No, I don't think I have. Well, that's weird. Must have happened. I wonder what happened there. It's playing out like... No, we're still live. Yeah, there we go. We're still live. Live. Let me scroll. Mendel Goodman says, hey, Dave, you mentioned that if you were asked to play Freddy again for a real film, you'd agree. If you found out that an Elm Street movie was would you have your agent reach out for an audition? That's a good question. I never thought of that. If I found out that an Elm Street film was being made or in development, and they were casting, and I found out they were looking for Freddy, what I would do is I would package my audition, which is essentially Dylan's New Nightmare. And I would put together like a demo reel, maybe like 90 seconds, a minute, maybe 60 seconds or 90 seconds of, a couple of clips from Dylan's New Nightmare, a clip from me welcoming people to Mad Monster, and maybe a couple other little things, maybe some, and I would package that and I would try maybe to get that into the hands of the casting director, whoever it was. That's probably what I would try to do. And I could do that through my agent probably. Because again, unless just to kind of get my name into the circle. Now, from that, they may watch something like that and go, wow, this guy's great. Or no, this guy's not what we want. Who knows? But if they were like, wow, this guy's great, then they wouldn't cast me from that. They would either let's have him audition our script based on what we've seen, or wow, this is great. Let's call his agent. Let's have a Zoom call with him or something. Let's talk to this guy. I wouldn't be cast from that, but it may get me into the conversation, which really at the end of the day is all you could hope for, is just to be a part of the conversation. That's a good question. I've never thought about it. The problem is that usually we don't know about, like, usually whether or not things get by the time people are cast, they're already cast. We don't usually hear about the search unless it's an open casting call, and therefore it is posted on like Casting Workbook or the avenues and certain areas. It's an open casting call. But with a see, that's not usually at the studio level. I don't know if they would do that for the role of Freddy. I could see them doing that for, we need doctor number 2, we need cop number 3. I could see those kind of open casting calls. But for Freddy, they would likely have people in mind already and then just ask to see. It wouldn't necessarily be an open casting call, but you never know. I mean, you never know. I don't know. But to answer your question directly, that's what I would probably do. If I found out that was the case, yeah, why not? Why not get my reel as Freddy into their hands? Because it's the real deal. I'm not cosplaying as Freddy. I'm not walking around with a Walmart mask, on Halloween night trick-or-treating. I'm fucking Freddy Krueger, like legit. So why not? Yeah, why not try to get that into their hands? Now, whether they want that, whether they accept it, whether we're able to, that's a different story. That's a completely different story. But with the power of social media and if enough people are hashtagging and it gets viral, and who knows, right? You never know. You never know, right? Usually people are not cast that way. That's not usually how it works, fan casting, right? But I'm not just, I am a professional, I'm not just, I'm not an actor. So I am a professional who works in the industry, has agents, have representation, so I mean, it's a situation where, it's more possible because, it's not just some guy who does this at like fucking barbecues and he's trying to get in on fucking, auditions. It's it's Joe from down the street who thinks he's got a pretty good Freddy impression and he's trying to get in. You know what I mean? No. You know what I mean? So we do know the proper channels and the proper avenues to reach out and go through to make that a possibility. So it wouldn't be soliciting, because usually with they don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. So they're like tagging people and emailing them and I'll audition, and it's like, well, that's not how you know what I mean? You can't do this backdoor. You got to go through the official channels. You got to, so, but you never know. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I have no idea. So again, I mean, but that, again, it doesn't mean that the probability of me being the next Freddy is very low. And it's not because I'm Canadian, although that could be part of it. But it's not because of that. It's not because I can't do it or I wouldn't do it, or I don't think I could 100%. It's just, usually when it gets to the stage of development already, they already have ideas of what they're looking for. They're already reaching out to, the larger agencies, WME, CAA, even more of the boutique agencies, like, in the States, right? It's usually always, unless somebody was to see Dylan's New Nightmare early on and my name gets sort of buzz early, like now, like early before development begins, then, who knows? But like I said, we do know the proper channels, and maybe that's something that we could do. It's a great question. I've never really thought about it from that perspective before, but that's what I would suggest doing. If I ever found out that it was like an open casting call, or they were looking for Freddy and they just don't know who yet, like if I found out that information was there, I would do that. I would package something together, post it online, and also speak to my representation and see if there's any way we can get it into their hands through proper channels. That way, it doesn't feel like solicitation. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, no, totally. That would be cool. That would be really cool. Super chat from Arthur Vega. Thank you, Arthur. Says, hey, Dave, random question. What movie is this quote from? You want to talk to God? Let's go see him together. I've got nothing better to do. Raiders of the Lost Ark, my friend. When Indiana Jones is talking to Belloc or Belosh. Belloc. Yeah, that's what it is. It's when it's just after Marion dies, and they're sitting down in that little cafe at that table. He's like, you want to go talk to God? Let's go see him together. I've got nothing else better to do. And he stands up, and then, all the guns come out. Indy. Next time it'll take more than children to save you, Indiana Jones. Yeah. It's great. It's a great line. It's a great line. It absolutely is a great line. For sure, 100%. All right. Okay, we're over 2 hours now, folks. So that's going to do it for me here on episode 200. And what are we at for McRae Lives? 214. 214. Amazing. So thank you, of course, to everybody that tuned in, all the super chat questions that came in today. And my moderators, of course, Frank Riker, Tab the Short, Darren Sands, Chris Baber, Cody Snyder, and Andrew Stevens. Thank you so much for doing what you guys do. I really, really appreciate it. And don't forget to still contribute to the It's Me Billy Chapter 2 campaign. We're in demand right now, and there's only 2 associate producer perks left. Who out there wants to become an associate producer and get your name in the end credits and become a part of Black Christmas history? Well, as a matter of fact, no matter what perk you pick up, you will become a part of Black Christmas history because your name will be in the end credits. So let's keep it going, folks. It's there. Let's take advantage of it. You are all amazing. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I will be back soon with another episode, of course, very soon. I'm not sure when that will be, but I definitely will be back soon. I appreciate you all. Thank you all for tuning in. You're all amazing. Stay safe out there. And hey, if you want to follow me on social media, you can. There are my links. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. All my links are in the description. Check them out until your heart's content. And when your heart is content, check them out again. That's going to do it for me. In the meantime and in between time, I will talk to you all soon. All right, folks. Later. Cheers.